What's it like getting a Tesla? What's up, guys? This is Silver Fox Tesla. My name is Rory. This is a new YouTube channel I'm trying out, and I'm going to be talking about, in this video, my experiences getting my Tesla, what made me want it, the whole story, and give you an idea of some things that you can expect. You might have already seen a ton of videos like this if you're thinking about getting a Tesla yourself, or if you recently purchased one, but hopefully I can share some different things from my own perspective. So I guess just starting out, how did I find out about Tesla? I think if you live in a pretty populated area these days, it's kind of impossible to not find out about them because you'll see like 3 of them for every mile you drive. They're everywhere. I'm in New York City and they are just constantly all over the road. It's kind of what they talk about when they say that, you know, Tesla doesn't really advertise. You don't see commercials for Tesla because they advertise themselves by just existing. They're all over the road. You can't drive anywhere without seeing them. So, you know, naturally I was like, okay, what's up with these Teslas? You know, I knew they were electric. That was kind of all I knew about them. A few months ago, I actually got sick and I had nothing to do, so I started going down like a YouTube rabbit hole, just watching a bunch of Tesla YouTube videos, learning all about them, and I found it really interesting. I loved pretty much everything about them, especially the safety, actually, because I drove an older car and I have a little anxiety driving, so being able to drive something that is really, really cool in so many different ways and so many unique ways compared to everything I was used to driving you know, an old gas car, and also among, if not the safest car on the road, that really made me interested. I come from a 2001 BMW 3 Series, which is a sedan, small sedan, so the Model 3 was pretty much the most appealing car to me. Also the cheapest Tesla, so it doesn't hurt. Everything kind of worked out perfectly there. And then at that point I started to think about, what are my options? What do I actually want? So at first I wasn't sure what range I wanted, whether I wanted long range or, you know, rear wheel drive, long range or standard range. And new and used was also something that I was wondering about, because there are a lot of, you know, obviously there are advantages to buying used in terms of price, but then it's a used car, so there's always things to worry about there. One of the main appeals to me about buying used was that I could get FSD, full self-driving, without having to drop $15,000. Yeah, if you're watching this video, I don't know when, it might even be more than that. It might be 20,000 by the time you're watching this video, because I think it was started at like 7,000 and then it went up to 10 and 12 and now it's at 15,000. It's just software. It's literally software. You buy the same car and then they're charging that much for it. Elon, please. Just make it free for everybody. Like, not, I mean, I guess that's just like, you know, a pipe dream, but I feel like the whole mission of Tesla and getting autonomous driving to everyone, you would think that it's just something that should be standard, especially since I mean, I know it costs them a lot of money to develop it, but this doesn't cost them anything to just hand you the software, you know? But anyway, on a used Tesla, if you're buying it from Tesla, they probably factor in the value of FSD into the price, but it's definitely not to that full $15,000 evaluation. On the other hand, when it comes to a used car that you buy from someone that isn't Tesla, a lot of times they don't even put FSD on the car description, which is really annoying. And I was looking at so many listings and I was like, does this have FSD? Does this have FSD? Because it's a huge value to add to a used car. But these people don't even know, like, especially I think it's CarMax or Carvana, one of them, you'll go and every single Tesla they have, they show a picture of the odometer, which is literally the same screen where it will tell you if it has a full self-driving package or not. But they crop it so it's just the odometer, so you can't even tell. Now, obviously, if you wanted to pursue a purchase like that, you could, you know, either call somebody, email somebody, or go to where the car is being stored, and you can see if it has FSD, if that's something that interested you. But regardless, that's something that you can get a lot of value out of for used, besides for just the price. Another thing that was really appealing to me about buying used, I assume by now I've edited in some pictures of the car, is silver metallic. Silver metallic, to my knowledge, is one of 2 discontinued colors as of the time I'm making this video in January of 2023. 2 discontinued colors of the Model 3. They don't make them anymore. I don't know why they stopped making them. I think that silver metallic is the most beautiful color that the Model 3 has ever been made in, at least so far. The Quicksilver color that they just came out with in Germany is actually really nice. But the silver metallic, really beautiful. I like it a lot better than the midnight silver that they, I guess, sort of replaced it with. I'm not sure if midnight silver was around at the same time or not. I think it might have been. But yeah, I think it's beautiful, and you can't get that new anymore. So that was another big appeal to me of buying used. And also just long range is more affordable that way. And I don't need long range. I don't drive that often or that far particularly, but it's just peace of mind, you know, getting long range feels really nice. So the next step, you know, at some point I decided I was actually going to go for this. Then there was all this talk of tax credits. So this also made me confused as to whether I wanted to go new or used. And because I heard that there were tax credits also for used, but that it was less money. That wound up being not exactly accurate, or sort of accurate, but I'll talk about that later. But I checked listings on Edmunds and Carvana and all sorts of places, as well as Tesla, every once in a while. But I was planning on waiting till 2023 so that if there was a tax credit, I'd be able to get it. Then one night in December, I had plans. My plans fell through, so I was just like, yeah, fuck it, you know, like I'll go and look at some used listings again. And I went on Tesla's website. I clicked on the option for the midnight silver color when you're looking at the used listings, and they usually say like there are none in your area because it's a pretty rare color. So there were none in my area, but there are usually a few listed when it like kind of automatically shows you nationwide. And then there was this silver metallic Model 3 in Arizona. I live in New York, remember, Arizona, pretty far away. And I clicked on it. My God, was this car perfect. So yeah, silver metallic, we've established that. That's rare color, you can't really find that. It had FSD. It was long range, dual motor long range, because apparently they used to make a single motor rear wheel drive long range. I don't know. But dual motor, all wheel drive. The white interior, the sport rims, and acceleration boost. I didn't even care about acceleration boost, but I mean, yeah, obviously I want it. And to top it all off, it only had 15,000 miles, or like slightly over 15,000 miles on the odometer, which is crazy. If you're looking at used Teslas, I mean, obviously you can find things with lower than that, but generally they're like over 50. So when I saw 15 and everything else perfect, FSD, white interior, sport rims, silver metallic, long range all-wheel drive, acceleration boost, everything I could possibly want, and the price was relatively fair as well. I mean, I didn't really like look at like, there's not much to compare it to, because I've never, in all the listings I looked at, even before I was ready to buy, I never saw one with everything exactly the way I wanted it like that. So at the time I was like, do I do it? And I remember just calling my dad, and I'm like, because I've never bought a car before, you know, and I don't want to just spontaneously drop a ton of money. I'm like, is this a good idea? Like, should I do this? And my dad was like, he was like asleep at the time, but he was like, yeah, you know, if it's not perfect, you know, worst case scenario, you could always sell it, or you could cancel the order. I mean, you lose money if you cancel the order, but yeah, it was a $2,000 delivery fee, which I guess is not that much, because I'm pretty sure if you buy a new car of any kind, you have to pay $1,500 or something to have it delivered, unless you're buying it like from the site. But in the case of Tesla, that's usually not the case. Usually from Tesla, you're buying online anyway. So I did it. I made the purchase, and that was that. And after that, so if you've never bought a Tesla before, I assume this is the case with every Tesla, whether it's new or used. They give you a guy who texts you. That's kind of like your advisor or whatever. Well, I have nothing against Tesla in general, or nothing personal against this guy, but this guy was not good. The guy that they gave me was not good. It was interesting because when I was considering whether or not I wanted to purchase the car, there's a little option on the used Tesla listings where it says like, click here to request a callback for to ask a question about the car. And I did that before I bought it, because I made the decision to buy it after like doing that, but I didn't hear back until after I had bought it. So the same number that was texting me in response to that callback of like, do you want to know more about this used car, was also the number that my advisor was texting me from, which makes me think it was the same person, but I'm not sure if somehow they just have like one number that they can use for a variety of purposes. I don't know, but that leads me to be more confused about how that all worked out. By the way, the reason I was contacting, asking for a callback, is when you buy used from Tesla, in maybe all cases, or at least most cases, you can't see any pictures of the car. So you don't know what you're getting. Like, I mean, you see like a picture of the configuration of what you're ordering, but you can't see like how many dings and scratches it is. You can't tell like, what it really looks like. They have like a set of standards where it can't have scratches like longer than 4 inches or something like that. which were pretty like liberal standards. Like you could conceivably probably get a used Tesla that's not in that great shape, and you wouldn't know it until you took delivery, and that means you probably paid the full price already at that point, at least in order to be able to access the interior of the car, which is very important as well for seeing cosmetic stuff. So it was definitely kind of a dice roll, and definitely kind of a risk in that regard. But anyway, so yeah, this guy that I was texting, he would take a long time to respond. And sometimes he wouldn't respond at all, and I'd have to like ask a question again. I wasn't like pestering the guy. I only had a few questions. One of the things I asked him was about the tax incentives, and he said that it would not qualify. He says used cars do not qualify. And I thought that was wrong because I had heard before that used cars do qualify, and I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure that the actual truth is that used cars, including Teslas, do qualify for the tax incentive if their price was under $25,000. You guys can let me know in the comments if that's right or wrong. Hopefully it's not wrong in the sense that I could have qualified for a tax incentive and didn't. Obviously this car was way more than $25,000. But yeah, so then I was like, all right, well, in that case it doesn't qualify, but the guy was still wrong to say that none of them would qualify like that. Okay. So then other things. There was also one point where, so originally the guy told me that the car was going to be available between, like, you know, delivered between December 24th and 26th, which is a funny time because it's like right around Christmas. But I was actually going out to visit my mom for Christmas, who lives near the Tesla area that I was gonna pick up the car. So I thought, oh, that's perfect. So we have two chances, either on the way out there or on the way back. I was driving with my dad, so we had another car, so I'd be able to pick it up. It would have been perfect. But nope, it was not ready at that time. It's not a big deal, but you know, they didn't tell me anything, like, oh, that it's delayed or anything, nothing. And then on the 27th, I texted the guy again. I'm saying, yeah, you know, do you have any updates for me on the delivery or whatever? No response. Finally, on Thursday, that was a Tuesday, the 27th, I think was a Tuesday or Monday, I don't know. But then later that week, on Thursday, I finally heard back from the guy again saying, congratulations, your Tesla is going to arrive, or it has arrived on site, he said. And he says, you can pick it up tomorrow or Friday. He texted me this on Thursday. You can pick it up tomorrow or Friday? So I said to the guy, I said, can you clarify that the car is not available, that today is not an option because tomorrow is Friday? And he said, oh, my apologies. I meant to say tomorrow or Saturday. So yeah, I had to wait an additional day. I wish they would just text me the same day that I can get it, but whatever. So yeah, I picked it up. It's better this way to be prepared. So yeah, I picked it up the following day. So me and my dad drove to the Tesla. It's not, I guess it doubles as a showroom, but it's like one of their centers. I don't even know what they call them. It's not really a dealership, but it's a giant, massive parking lot filled with Teslas. So I didn't know exactly how I was supposed to proceed. They didn't text me anything on that day, but on the app it says, delivery day, congratulations. Locate your vehicle in the site. So I was like, all right, let's drive around the parking lot and find it. You know, it should be pretty easy to spot because there aren't that many silver ones. Well, there must have been at least 100 Teslas in that parking lot, and there were zero silver metallic Teslas of any model, of any make, or yeah, any model. So, well, one thing I thought that was cool, like that really shows how hard to find this finish is nowadays, but also I'm like, where the fuck's my car? So I went in and I spoke to the lady. I said, yeah, you know, I got a Model 3. Doesn't seem to be here. She's like, okay, just give me a moment. So eventually it was there. Somebody had it, like, I guess inside the center somewhere. It was not in the parking lot, and they drove it out. And I remember I saw that guy drove out. I instantly knew that this has to be it, right? Because there's none others like this, and it looked beautiful. I wasn't sure if they were gonna like wash the car and everything at the center, because I know Tesla's different from like traditional stuff in a lot of ways, but no, it was completely clean. It was beautiful. I have a video here for you, which was my original like inspection video to take pictures of the condition that the car arrived in. But honestly, I was so just lost looking at the car itself with my own eyes that I wasn't even really looking at the phone screen as I filmed it. So maybe not the best video, but you can still see what it was like when I got the delivery. And something really cool is that all the people that I interacted with the car around me at the Tesla place, like the Tesla employees, they were admiring it as well. Like the first guy was like, well, you got a rare color here. Like I think this is the best one I've seen, like talking about used, Model 3s in silver metallic. which was like, and I could tell these guys weren't, I mean, I already bought the car, so they don't have to sell me on anything, right? In general, I found Tesla's people to not be very selly. I don't even know if they make commission, like the guys at the showroom for selling you a car. You would think they would, but Tesla does things very, because like you order online, so I don't know. But yeah, like they were just genuinely admiring it. And the tire pressure was a little low, so I pulled into their automatic gate thing, or like the little garage for where you pull in to get service is like automatic. It's cool. But the guy there too who filled up the tires is like, well, you got yourself a rare color here. And everybody at the Tesla place was really nice. They were, you know, everybody said congratulations, just really friendly people. Sounds like the kind of people who I'd expect to work at Tesla anyway, but I imagine, you know, compared to some retail positions, they're working with generally high-end clientele, you know, buying Teslas and stuff like that. So go figure. So yeah, next step, getting into the car. I wanted to drive it pretty quickly, but I definitely configured things. I think one of the first things I did was put on dark mode. I don't know how all you guys look at that like blaring bright screen. I can't stand it. So I put on dark mode. It had one of the things that I was concerned about, because the Tesla place that I was picking my car up was 50 miles away from home. And I guess there were superchargers around, but I didn't want to have to like stop at one of them to charge it. And there were chargers at the place, but they weren't like superchargers, and I don't think they were the kind of thing where you could just pull up your Tesla and be like, oh, well, I'm just charged here. So I was concerned, is the car going to be charged? I had 89% battery when I stepped into the car, which is fantastic because, as you know, if you have the long range, unless you have, I think, standard range rear-wheel drive, you're supposed to charge usually no more than 80%. So it was even more charged than that, which is what I would want for delivery day. So it had plenty of battery. First impressions, this car is fucking fast. 0 to 60 in 3.9 is what it's described at on the website with the acceleration boost. I test drove a Tesla before, so I knew the general gist of what I was getting into, but it's been really fun getting used to the one pedal driving, the regenerative braking, and, you know, just kind of finding a groove for that. Dude, this car is stupid fast. Like I just said that, I know, but like when you go on the highway and you're just suddenly going 70, like you don't even realize it. It doesn't feel like you're going as fast as you are because it's so easy to go as fast as it does, and because you don't have that like delayed push that a gas car has, like the car that I previously had. So when I was first driving it home, I did want to test out autopilot, especially when I got into like a slower traffic situation, because I've watched a lot of videos on autopilot, so I'm kind of familiar with how it works. For some reason, I had turned auto steer off in the settings. I don't remember exactly what my thought process was behind that. I didn't realize that kind of made it so that autopilot doesn't steer. So I guess autopilot without auto steer is basically just traffic aware cruise control, as far as I could tell. But that's what I had on the way home, and it's the kind of thing where it's hard to trust at first. But then suddenly you just see that the car is doing exactly what it's supposed to, and then you kind of grow to trust it. That was my experience, at least. I set my following distance. By the way, the following distance, I expected, because you can set like how close your car, because it's going to brake automatically for the car in front of you if the car in front of you brakes. I was expecting, because Tesla's like super obsessed with safety and everything, that the following distance was going to be pretty far, even at its closest setting. No, you can get very close to somebody with the closest following distance setting, at least in my perspective. So 1 is the closest setting for following, so I set it to 2 actually. 1 felt a little too close for me. And yeah, the car would brake, it would follow, I had to keep it in the lane because I didn't have auto steer on at the time, but that was really fun, and it made traffic a lot easier. At first, I would just have my foot hovering over the pedal. One of the like weird things about autopilot is that, I mean, you definitely want to be ready to put your foot on either pedal. I say either because if it brakes when you don't want it to, you want to press the gas at any time. But it's actually it's less comfortable to keep your foot like hovering over pedals than actually on them. So if you're really, really like uncomfortable with autopilot and you feel like you want to keep your foot ready to hit a pedal at any time, you might as well just drive it normally, because, or at least you can kind of keep your foot on the gas actually while it's in autopilot. And as long as you don't accelerate past the limit, I'm pretty sure it won't it won't disable autopilot or deactivate it. But yeah, so I kind of, after I got comfortable with it, I kind of just rested my foot in a comfortable position that wasn't on the pedals, and I was still ready to take control if I needed to. But that was a lot of fun, and since then I've tried true autopilot, which it's very scary at first. Not scary in like the car is actually doing anything wrong, but it's just scary, A, because yes, it's driving for itself, but also like one of the things, I don't know, especially since this is a different shaped and sized car from my previous vehicle, I don't know if maybe I drive a little bit far to the right in my lane usually. I would like to figure that out. But when I put in an autopilot, it feels way more to the left than I would be driving within the confines of the lane. It's not over the lane. You can even see in the visualization that it is apparently in the center of the lane, but it's kind of disconcerting, especially when I'm in the left lane and there's a divider right next to me, because we have some narrow highways in New York. If you've ever driven on the Cross Island, in the Queens part of it, you feel my pain. Yeah, there's not much space there, so it's like I had to keep my hands on the wheel just for comfort so far, but it's still something that I'm getting used to and that I plan to use more. The screen, everything about the car, I mean, I'm not trying to make this a review. You've probably already seen plenty of Tesla videos and you know what's up, but I just wanted to point out that I have like a Google Doc with some notes as to what to talk about in this video, and I was able to just log into it on the browser in my car, and I have it on my screen right here, which is beautiful. So let's see what else we have. Yeah, so one of the other things, I mentioned that this car has full self-driving, which is one of the reasons I bought it, one of the reasons I wanted to go used. Interestingly, this car actually has hardware 2.5, so it doesn't have the chip that is needed for full self-driving, which makes me think that Tesla probably adds the software package to the car after after they acquire it. Like, I don't think the former owner of this car had full self-driving because the car can't do it as far as I can tell. But there is a free retrofit to the Hardware 3 computer chip, which I am scheduled for in around a week. So look forward to a video on that. I'm going to be uploading my experience with that and subsequently the experience with full self-driving. I've watched tons of videos of it. As far as I know, beta is now open, so anybody who has the package can get on it. Either way, I'm going to try and get on it, and I'm going to be making full self-driving Chronicles videos discussing it and obviously showing you what it's like to drive with it. And I'm really looking forward to that. Some other things I forgot to mention. Not only was everything else that I said about this car such a perfect, situation of all the things that I wanted, but it's also a 2019 Model 3. And Silver Metallic was discontinued in 2018, which means this car, I believe from what I researched, it was built in 2018, which is why it has the color, but that means it's one of the last ones made in the color, which is cool on its own just for the fact that it's like, oh, you got it right at the end of its being made, but it also means it's one of the newest Silver Metallic Model 3s that there is. So just another thing, really great. Another thing, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Shirley. This is gonna be really awkward if she's actually watching. So when I got into the key settings for the car, I noticed that there were still some iPhones linked as phone keys, which I guess they didn't factory reset the car. I don't know. Everything else seemed fresh, but yeah, there were, and maybe this had something to do with people who had it at Tesla. I don't know, but probably not. There were several phones actually several, like there were like 4 different iPhones that were all Shirley's iPhone, like iPhone 7, iPhone 11, etc. that were there as phone keys. So I'm pretty sure the former owner was someone named Shirley. So shout outs to Shirley. I feel genuinely sorry for you that you had to give up your Model 3, which you probably loved, but just know that it's in loving hands right now. Also, when I first got on the app, the car was already named Silver Fox. So I wanted to give it my own name, but then I thought, I really like the name Silver Fox for this car. It's just perfect. So I think maybe the F was lowercase or something and I made it capital. I don't remember, but I decided to keep the name Silver Fox to pay homage to the history of the car. Maybe somebody at Tesla just gave it that name and it's actually only not even part of the history. I don't know. But, and also I just think it's a cool name. So that's also why the channel is called Silver Fox Tesla, because this is the Silver Fox, the Model 3 that I'm sitting in right now. Okay, so then also first time charging. I live in a condo and it's kind of a complicated experience or a complicated situation where I do have a garage, but trying to get a higher voltage than normal outlet in there has proven to seem like a very difficult process. Like, I've spoken to electricians, I've had people take a look at it. It's not going to be cheap, it's not going to be easy, whatever it is, it's going to be a pain in the butt. So I decided to just try out the standard outlet for the time being. I don't drive that often, but you're supposed to get like, I don't know, 3 miles of charge per hour of charging, or 3 miles of range per hour of charging with that or whatever. But so far, it's actually been great. I plug in, the average drive I make is to a friend of mine's. He lives on Long Island, and round trip is like 30 miles. I get home, I plug it in, I go to sleep, I wake up, and I'm back at 80% at the charging limit. So for most drives, it seems like I actually might not need to get another situation. If you're driving a lot of miles every day, then it's probably something to, you know, really consider, or unless you want to be stopping at superchargers all the time, which I hopefully will never do. I'm sure I will at some point, but I don't want to have to do that. So yeah, charging has been great. Also, another thing, when you buy a used Tesla, you don't know, I mean, I guess if you're getting it from a third party, you'll be able to see pictures and you'll be able to find out. But when you're buying it from Tesla, you don't know if you're going to get the mobile charging cord or not. It's just, that's another thing that I texted the advisor guy about. It's just whether the previous owner decided to give it to you or not. So once again, shout outs to Shirley, because it was in my trunk. Interestingly, it had the NEMA 1450 adapter, but it didn't have the standard 515 regular standard wall outlet adapter. So they were actually able to sell me that at Tesla. It was only 35 bucks, so not much compared to the I think 200 that I would have had to pay for the mobile connector. But keep that in mind. If you're getting a used Tesla through Tesla, you will not know if it has the mobile connector or you know, basically any charging cables besides for the adapter that lets you use like the typical Electrify America stuff, the J something adapter. You won't know if it has that until you get into your car. And if your plan is to charge with the mobile connector, which Elon, I guess, says is not what people do, because that's why they discontinued it. I don't buy that at all. I think that's probably what most people do. Yeah, make sure you look into that. All right, so this has already been a very long video. If you've stuck with me this far, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the little piece of my Tesla experience that I've shared to you. And I would greatly appreciate it, as every YouTuber says, if you like and subscribe. As for future content on this channel, I have a lot of plans for different kinds of Tesla content that I can make. As I already mentioned, I'm going to be uploading a video about the story of my Hardware 3 retrofit and what that experience is like and how it goes. If they damage anything doing the installation, hopefully they won't, but I'll have that chronicled. And from there on, I will have a series of videos called FSD Chronicles. That's what I'm hoping to do, that's what I'm planning to do, where I show you typical drives with full self-driving. My plan is actually not to do what most YouTubers do, where they kind of push things to the limit and see what the car will do. If you like that, there are plenty of YouTube channels that will show you things that do just like that. My plan is actually to show you what like a practical drive is with FSD, like taking over as much as I want to be comfortable, and showing you how you can use FSD, or what it's like trying to use FSD in a typical everyday driving situation. And how it can be like a tool that assists you in your driving, or, you know, maybe messes things up for you. We'll see. Additionally, I'm going to have some reviews on this channel. I have a lot of things coming in the mail right now already. I have a set of cleaning supplies, or cleaning, you know, stuff from Test Bros that I ordered, and we're going to see how that stuff is. I also have a car vacuum from Eufy that I ordered, and we're going to see how that is. And a hard drive for Sentry mode, because these older Model 3s do not come with a USB drive of any kind. Also, as far as I know, the only way to have like data going into the car is to disconnect one of the cables from the cell phone charging dock in the car. So it seems like that's something that is a limitation I didn't know about older Model 3s, that like you have to actually unplug one side of the charging dock if you want to plug in a USB for storage. But yeah, thank you guys once again for watching. Like I said, please like and subscribe if you like this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I will catch you in another one pretty soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.